Hey stunning people, my name is Beane and welcome to the Salt Lick Sessions. Our next artist grew up being quizzed by their dad on different types of musical artists, and now they're here to teach us a lesson in some folk music. This is Klug.
"25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out, what's in my head. And I'm feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say to try. Oh my God, do I try? I try all the time. This institution, and I pray. Oh my God, do I pray? I pray every single day for revolution. And so I cry sometimes in bed just to get it all out, what's in my head. And I'm feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, I said, hey, what's going on? And I said, hey, I said, hey, what's going on? Ooh, ooh, ooh. 25 years and my life is still trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination.
Hey Olive.
Hey, what's up?
Could do like a across the pond type of
So
thing.
cute, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. This has been really fun so far.
You've been a joy to have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Of course. Of course. I'm obsessed with the hair. I just shaved off my own like mullet type kind of thing. So we would have been twinning.
Oh, that would have been really fun.
Yeah, yours is better than mine though.
Thank you. It's getting kind of long, but I think I'm like gonna lean into it.
I like it.
I think I might grow the mullet part out and then like shave the sides.
A little Eldebarge.
Yes.
A little throwback. I'm very into it. Where are you from?
I'm from Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you stay there for like your whole upbringing?
Yes. So I guess I technically was born in LA when I was like, you know, a baby. And then when I was 1, we moved up to Oregon, right outside of Portland in a town called West Lynn. But I say I'm from Portland because whatever. But yeah. And then I stayed there until I was 18, went to school in Southern California. moved back during the pandemic, and then I moved back to California, and now I am in Nashville.
And now you're in Nashville.
So it was like that was the whole
I like
thing.
the signature.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. And
Yeah.
what prompted the move to Nashville?
Well, I took a trip there in the summer, and I had the best time ever, and I like found it really easy to make friends, and living was just a lot easier, and like getting around, I was like I could do so much in a day, and things were less expensive, and I was paying too much rent in LA, and
Snaps
I
for
was
that.
like, I just feel like it was like a great community to be in if you're a musician, and specifically a folk musician. Like I had a hard time finding, I want a folk band. Like I wanted to have like mandolin players and fiddle players and upright bassists. And I was, I did find people to do that in LA, but it was like much harder. And I feel like in Nashville, it's like, if you even say the word fiddle, like 4 people show up. And like, so that's great.
Fiddle.
Yeah.
The doors bust open. We're into it. Could you speak to the folk scene in Portland versus LA versus Nashville?
Totally. Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Speak about.
rather.
Like,
Portland, I don't. I feel like I just connected with other singer-songwriters in Portland, and it's a very, very supportive community. That's like where I started out, because like after college was when I first started actually like trying to do the music thing. I got my degree in psychology, so totally unrelated to music. But yeah, that's like when I started doing open mics, started meeting people, and like there's this thing called the Atlantis Lounge in Portland, and I went back there when I was just with my parents for a couple months recently, and it's just like so fun, and I like. Everyone is really, really supportive, and there's something called the Oregon Country Fair that I love, and it's like a little festival where a lot of Portland folk musicians play, and it's like a art festival / hippie. It's like a hippie rave is how I would describe it. It's like a rave, but it's a bunch of hippies and folk people, and it's the best. I love it so much. And yeah, that's the folk scene in Portland, I guess. But I think that what I was lacking was, and I love Portland. No offense to Portland at all. I feel like there just wasn't necessarily the drive to make music a career in Portland. I didn't find other people who were like really driven and dedicated to like, okay, I want to do this for a career. It was just most people who were doing it for fun, which is amazing, and I love that. But I was kind of like curious about trying to really commit to the career vibe. So I moved to LA, and I had a lot of friends there from college, and I was there for 2.5 years, and I had honestly so much fun in LA. It was amazing. And the singer-songwriter community in LA is great. There are so many people writing songs, making music. I was able to do this thing organized by my friend Lucy Clearwater. It was like a little just like song share night that happened once a month, and I was able to connect with a lot of awesome singer-songwriters that way.
Is that how I know you?
Oh my God, do you know
Is it
Lucy? Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh my
I love
gosh,
Lucy.
that's awesome.
And I've done the song shares with her.
You've
as
done
well.
the song shares too.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And you seem so
Wow, that's
familiar,
sweet.
and I'm like, is it from
I'm
that?
sure that's what it was.
It's
Yeah.
gotta be, right?
I like been to the. That's so fun
Yeah.
that you. Oh my God.
Lucy
fun.
and James and Victoria and like
yeah,
that whole
that whole
little
group.
scene. Yeah.
Oh, that was so fun.
Small world.
Very small world. That's so cute.
Yeah, that is cute.
I had that was like probably my favorite part of being a singer-songwriter in LA, and then I went to like Monday at Hotel Cafe.
Doing one on Monday.
Yeah. Oh,
With Eli.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like
must
there
have
is
just,
such a
skirted past each other.
yeah. There's such a like strong community for singer-songwriters in LA, and I really like was able to connect with the industry better while I was there, and also just like there's such a big queer community there, and I felt like I was really involved in that as well. And it was great. It was really fun. But at the end of the day, I just like I'll just be vulnerable. I'm in a tough position in my career right now, and I was like, I can't live in LA anymore financially. So I was like, what am I gonna do? And Nashville just like really seemed like the answer, and I met all these amazing people there when I was when I took a trip there in August. And I did feel like the singer-songwriter scene in LA super strong. Folk specifically, which is kind of what I want to like get my foot into the door of, wasn't quite as present, and I felt like people use this term to describe me that I openly hate of being a Gen Z singer-songwriter. I was born in 1997, so I'm actually right on the cusp. I'm not technically fully Gen Z, first of all. And second of all, I'm just like, I don't like that terminology. I want to, like, I have always loved folk music. I want to be a folk musician. Like, that's kind of like what I'm trying to do. So I think that Nashville like has a stronger community for that specifically, whereas LA is more kind of generalized singer-songwriter, I would say.
Very much so.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah,
I'm also
cool.
a 97 baby, so I feel you on the cusp.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's like, I don't know. I feel like I get offended when people call me a millennial or Gen Z. I'm like, like either one. I'm like,
We're defensive cuspers.
Yes.
I'm with you. I think it's also interesting, two of the spaces in LA that you talked about, Monday,
Yeah.
and the song show that's headed by our friend Lucy.
Yeah.
They're both very intimate spaces with crowds and creators that are very open to people who come as they are.
Yeah.
Kind of across the board. I think in both of those spaces, I've experienced people that kind of run the gambit. And it's funny that those are the two spaces that you brought up that you felt most comfortable in, because I would probably list them. I would probably also list them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah.
Shout out to
it was
Lucy.
really fun.
Lucy
Shout out
gets
to
the shout out for this
Lucy.
one.
Thank you for organizing that. It
Yes.
was awesome. Yeah.
Knocked
And
it out
I
of the
like,
park.
if I come back to LA ever, I want to keep doing that. So yeah.
Yeah, and you will.
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
definitely will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could I talk to you about queerness in the folk scene?
Yeah, totally.
Have you met any resistance with your queerness, or have you found that there's been a space carved out that's comfortable for you to inhabit?
I feel like there's a space that has been comfortable for me to inhabit. I think that like it can be difficult I think there's two distinct folk scenes that I'm finding myself a part of. There's kind of the younger generation that is very online, and like I'm very online. And in that scene, I feel like it's a very queer scene. Like I feel like it's almost like queer dominant. Like people that I have connected with through the internet, it's like either they're queer or they're like so comfortable with queerness that they get mistaken for being queer all the time. So that's like definitely been awesome. I think that in spaces like FAI or I played Sisters Folk Festival this past year, I don't think I meet any resistance. I think that anybody who's kind of like not in the Gen Z / millennial generation is going to have a harder time with pronouns and transness. And I think that that's just not necessarily something that they're not open to, but it's just something that I think is harder for the older folks to understand. But I think it's important for me to like be here, and like for younger queer people to be here, to be like connecting with older folks on that, and like sharing our perspective, and connecting intergenerationally. Like I think that I love spaces like FAI and like folk festivals like Sisters, because I think that in that community of younger folks who are like doing the online thing, I think that there's actually like a lack of connection with the older folk scene, and I think it's important to bridge that gap. So yeah,
Totally. I do feel that divide.
yeah,
It is there. But it's never... What's interesting is that sometimes that divide that you feel, I feel like in society, feels dangerous. In the folk scene, it doesn't necessarily feel, at least in my experience, it hasn't felt dangerous.
No, not
as
at
much as it's just like, we got to communicate through this.
yes,
You know what I mean?
exactly, yeah,
Which requires grace from both sides, grace and patience and smiles and fiddle.
yes, yes.
Doors crashing down again.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
More players are here.
Oh my God, they're gonna just like crash down the doors.
Who are some of the artists and songs that inspired you the most growing up?
I mean, I love Joni Mitchell. Like, I remember hearing her in the car when I was like 3 years old. Like, my dad used to play. My dad's like a huge kind of like old folk / classic rock guy, and he did, like would test me in the car. He would be like, he would like play Led Zeppelin and be like, "Who is this? What album is it?" And then, so I like had a very like classic rock dad music education.
Yeah, it's classic
growing up,
rock
so
dad.
that was fun. But yeah, like one of my favorite things that he played in the car that didn't feel like a challenge, or I mean, I grew to love everything, but the thing that I was most drawn to was Joni Mitchell, Neil Young, Crosby, Stills, Nash, like all of those, that kind of group of 70s folk has really inspired me. And yeah, specifically Joni Mitchell. I remember I was like 5 and I visited California because my grandparents lived there. And I was like, are we going to see Joni Mitchell? Because like my only context for California was the song California at like 5 years old. So I feel like she's just like in my bones, I would say. And then, you know, controversial, but Taylor Swift. Controversial. However, that like being like somebody growing up as a young girl and having Taylor Swift who writes her own songs, I was like, it was very inspiring.
Right.
And I still, have a special place in my heart. There are, I think it's important to keep critiques on the table, but also recognize like what she did for young women and what she has done in songwriting. So yeah, she's a huge inspiration. And then when I got a little older into like high school, college, I started listening to like more queer singer-songwriters, and specifically someone named Mal Blum is like a huge inspiration to me, and they're a bit of a smaller artist, and we actually like played some shows together, and like and he lives in LA, and so like he and I became friends, and that is the coolest thing to me. I'm like, oh my God, we're friends. And then also like I got into more kind of like folk punk recently. I've been like really loving that because I feel like there's like a lack of anger. It's like too pretty. Like folk music is too pretty sometimes. And I'm like, I want people to like yell and scream.
Totally.
And be angry. But I also am not like, I want the acoustic instrument still, but I want people to be pissed off.
Right.
So yeah, I've been listening to like Pigeon Pit a lot recently. And then also Kimya Dawson has been a huge inspiration for me. And I just like, as a person, she is a huge inspiration. She's like the Moldy Peaches person. And she's like an amazing activist too. And that's really inspiring to me. And she's like the best. I had a dream about, this is like weird also. No, please. I think she follows me on social media too. So I'm like, if she sees this, I'm like, hey. But I had a dream about her last night that she was here, and that we found out that we went to the same summer camp, even though that's just not true. But are
you sure it's not true?
I don't think so, because I think she's not from Oregon, so it wouldn't make sense. But yeah, it was a funny little dream. So yeah, those are some of my like big inspiration.
I love it. There's some names that I don't know, which is why I love to ask that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a little something.
Yeah, definitely.
If you had to go back and talk to a 5-year-old Olive going to California.
Yeah.
What would you tell them? What would you say to help maybe aid the journey from then to now?
I don't know. Oh my gosh, that's a hard question.
It's a getter.
Like a deep inner child question.
It's a therapizer.
Yeah.
You can keep it light though.
Okay. I mean, I think I would say, keep listening to Joni Mitchell. There's a reason that you're drawn to her. So
right, and there's quite a catalog to explore.
Yes, there's quite a catalog to explore.
Get into Mingus.
Yes,
Mingus is probably my favorite.
Oh my gosh, amazing! Yeah, my favorite is Hajira. Probably, I love Hajira.
Give me the deep cuts.
Yeah.
You know Dry Cleaner from Des Moines?
What?
Do you know Dry Cleaner from Des Moines?
No.
I'm telling you, it's like the deepest cut. Nobody knows that, and it's so wild.
You gotta send it to me.
I'm gonna make you save it before you leave.
Okay.
That's a threat.
Okay. Yes. No.
A promise and a threat.
It's a good threat. It's a good threat. Yeah.
Olive, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's great to meet somebody that I feel like I already met.
Yes, I mean, I think we actually literally did already meet.
I feel like we did already meet, and I need to figure out when it was.
Yeah,
if we were in California, then
yeah. You live in LA right now?
I live in LA right now.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe it was a song share.
Yeah, I think it was probably the song share.
Yeah. Here's to many more.
Here's to many more song shares. Thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thanks, Olive.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, there's a train in the sky in the middle of my mind. It's flying off a one-way track, and I try to button up my suit and tie it in an attempt to hold it back. But there's this strange old conductor wearing pearls and a backwards baseball cap. Well, there's a shoe on the floor cracking open the door to the band book of my heart, and I'm just a-peeking through the darkness, waiting for the end to start. And there's this strange librarian smashing all the windows of her car. Sometimes the river don't flow. Sometimes the eye of the storm has a glow like a North Star or a small town bar or a cheat code. Sometimes you can't see the road or the bright yellow phlegm in the back of your throat. Everything hides in plain sight like the wind blows. Well, there's an old man sitting by the podium stand with hazy, far-off eyes, and he's just giggling like a little girl who just spoiled her own surprise. And he says, oh, please stop looking at me, I'm getting dizzy. Well, there's a couple scars on this here guitar, about 100 on my skin. I love make a fall, miss your call, then get back up again. I'm getting too free for you to like me, but I'll still let you in. Sometimes the river don't flow, sometimes the eye of the storm has a glow like a North Star or a small town bar or a cheat code. Sometimes you can't see the road or the bright yellow flame in the back of your throat. Everything hides in plain sight like the wind blows. Well, there's a train in the sky in the middle of my mind is flying off a one-way track, and they try to button up my suit and tie in an attempt to hold me back. But I'm this strange old conductor wearing pearls and a backwards baseball cap.
Hey stunning people, if you want to get into the Salt Lick groove, head over to our channel page and get clicking. Tons of good stuff.